Okay, back with another live stream, and I've got something, a box I want to check. I think I know what it is. Well, we'll see. If I don't know what it is, then it might not be so interesting. I'm checking my sound up there. Okay, I want to make sure. I knew I had video, but I want to make sure I had sound on my live stream. Okay. So here's the box over here. Let me change mic so I can go over there. Okay. And, well, it's always wise, especially in the beginning of a stream, now that I switch mics, check the, put that one out of the way, and check the wireless mic. Okay, I had to sit there and watch it long enough to make sure it was working. All right, now, this is the box. And, over there, I guess I can scoop my chair over, but I think it's tall enough sitting on. See, I've got my server sitting on my workbench, and it's on that, so it's taller. So standing up's the best thing to do to be able to see it. It's hard to say about what it is. I have to open it before I know for sure what I can say that it is, because I don't know for sure. But it came from Florida. I saw that, and that's what gave me the clue. Yeah, because the other, it said a company that I didn't recognize, and it said from Florida. That's what I thought it might be. Can you tell what it is yet? I'm gonna wrap it in a second here. I don't know, I think it's kind of fun to, since I was guessing, thought it might be fun to keep you guessing for a second, see if you can figure it out. Careful there. Oh, I think I'll leave that bubbly junk out like that. Here we go. We'll stick it under the endoscope. Matter of fact, let me do that right now. But it's two 750 watt power supplies for my HP. Now they're used. They're supposed to be, refurbished, inspected, that they work. Which, of course, I wouldn't really want to buy them if they weren't. But and let's try not to break the. Let's turn them that way so that if I decide to drop them again, it'll land there and not on the. That was kind of scary. Yeah, you don't want to mess up the connector. Anyway, let's get over here on the endoscope, and then I can show them that letter. I don't remember enough about what the labels are going to say to try to guess. So let's just get over here under the endoscope. Let's see. There we go. I have to get a little closer, I guess. Maybe if we turn it some other way, the light won't be so crappy. There we go. Now I can finally read it. That's, I'm really lucky that I get anything in such a way that I can read it, but I got an idea here. There's always such a bad problem with the light in this room. And sometimes I actually think ahead and get something to shade what I'm looking at. It still didn't work. Of course, it's clear, but I thought maybe that would diffuse it enough to. Maybe it's coming from a different direction. I didn't think about that. Yep, it's more on this side. Oh. I guess. That is just ridiculous. How bad the light does. I know that, so wherever the light is reflecting from, it must be more than one direction. Now I'm running into my other camera. Let's turn it around. Oops. It starts to get it right there. I guess it's reflecting from two directions. So that doesn't really help. I thought, you know, on the side the light's coming from would be the side to fix it right up. I know, I'm wasting time. I tried that a minute ago with my hand and it wasn't really helping all that much. The legs of the okay, I think I'm just there now. Oh, hey, that actually made it where I can read it. Okay, let's see what it says. Go over here and look at the preview. That laptop just doesn't like running that preview anymore. I think before it, I'm going to close the browser before it makes it where it can't hardly run anymore. I don't know what it is. Something's changed. I used to could run it for hours before the fan would start spinning up, but I can hear it whining like crazy. All right, so the model of it, it's an HP, you know, branded power supply. It's an HP DL380 Generation 7 server. And boy, I found out when I was looking at them that you really got to pay attention because parts for the server, because they might fit a lot of them will fit a Gen 6 and a Gen 7, but then the next Gen 8 they won't, you know, of the 380. You might say 380. Anyway, you have to look at it yourself depending on what you got. But I did find the site. If I can remember, I might show it. I haven't showed it yet, I think, but on one of my videos. But anyway, it's an HP called Spare Parts page. And that's how I was able to make darn exactly sure that I got the right part, or that I ordered the right part. I guess I need to show that I got the right one now. But so there's the part number up there. That's the model. RMIN, I don't know what that number is. GPN, part number, there we go. That would be the number, the 506-822-101. That's the one I need to look up, I'm sure. And it'll take 100 volts to 240 here. I'm going to be plugging into 120 and standard American outlet. We have 240 in our houses normally, but it's usually only for the dryer and the cook stove and the welder. Actually I don't have a welder hooked up. I've got a welder. I do have a welder, but it runs on 110. It's a wire welder. But it needs a 20 amp circuit, and I set up a 20 amp circuit for it. But I knew that we only have, so what do we have? I think we only have 150 amp total service in this house. It's a, you know, built back in the 60s when people didn't use as much electricity. And yeah, I couldn't, you know, I knew our air conditioner runs, the air conditioner runs a compressor and all that runs on 240, and so does the dryer. And I didn't think I should put up, you know, hook into another circuit. There definitely wasn't any more free breakers. I mean, the panel had some empty spots, and I filled them in over the years. But I didn't, you know, I didn't think that another 220 would be wise. And I don't even know if I had the breaker. The ones that I got, you can't buy. It's sold. You can't buy them anymore. But my neighbor gave me his because he put in a new panel, so I still have some workable breakers. But Anyway, 750 watt. And, oh, okay, the 12 volt, plus 12 volt, 62.5 amps max, 12 volt SB. Oh, I think that is for USB. I'm almost certain. And that's 2.5 amps max. So, but of course it would be changed to 5 volts, but it says 12 volt SB. I'm not sure. Again, now I'm thinking about it. But anyway, let's look at the other one to make sure it says the same thing. Oh, there's some more. The rest of it's just stuff I can't read. Stuff in China. They are made in China. Even back during the, I don't know when the HP stuff started getting made in China, but it has this thing. I believe this server was made in about 2010, maybe 2009, and it sold in 2010, something like that. So anyway, to go that far back, let's see. Yeah, looks to me like the same part number, same specs. Okay, so I got a matched pair. I saw in the only negative review I saw when I looked at these was that somebody got a mismatched pair, and they said they gave them a refund, and that was okay with them. I guess they didn't say where they had. I guess they didn't have to send it back, and they got a refund. But I mean, you know, if you got a server, you want 2 matching power supplies. Now this one has two 460 watts. That's what it came with, my server. But what I decided to do, I started to move my cover, but I think I'll leave it. I think it was helping. I don't know if it's because I finally turned I think, well, you know, with that on there, I can't really show it without moving the camera, but and I can do that, and I should do something besides sitting here not showing. I think I can I'll just switch over here to the, let's switch mics while I'm thinking. SM58. Now, I'll show you what I was doing there. So that's my endoscope on its tripod, and I put that bubble wrap that came with it over it, thinking it would diffuse the light. But I tried it on every side, all around and around, and I couldn't ever get it completely gone. Finally, I kept turning the head I kept turning the head of the tripod more and more this way just to try to straighten it up. And suddenly it got up perfect with that on there, so I didn't want to take it off and make it bad again. Let's put this back. Oops, I had it about right, and then I moved it. Okay. Guess that's good enough. All right, so now I guess I didn't have it lean back all the way or something. Now, I wasn't leaning back. See, this chair really leans back, so it gets tricky. All right, so let's get on the desktop. And now I want to check. Well, I'm going to open up the browser to show you stuff. So, there's my file that I'm making. Did I get on the desktop? Yeah. So I'll check. First thing I'll do is check my stream, because the laptop I can still hear the fan, but not near as bad. And if I'm going to wait for the browser to open on it, then I have to wait for the browser to open on here. So made me think, okay, well, no point in doing all that. All right, so I have dashboard. I just looked. I ordered it on Amazon, and I just looked a few hours earlier in the daytime. This is 10:23 p.m. now. Let me check my sound. Just looked. I ordered it on Amazon. There we go. And it said be here between June 3 and 6 or something like that. And let me see. I was trying to figure out where I want to go. Guess I'll go back to there for now. I don't want that that stream playing and overworking this machine. Now then, let's see. I can't type. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. It's real easy when you can type. You can get start spelling the word you're looking for, and it'll get you in that general area. So, okay, here it is. I'll show you that. And funny thing, it was like the price was, yeah, I bought them on the 27th. That's when I ordered them. Price was 27 and some change, and I was looking for cables. I looking for cables to go with it. I was looking for a power cable and maybe a USB cable to go to my KVM switch. And it took a long time, an hour or two, or maybe longer. And while I was shopping, I looked back in the cart. I kind of was worried. It was about half the price of most of everybody else for two of them for this price, and and usually it's 45 or more for one. So what I've been seeing. So thought, man, they're liable to go up. I figured they had gone down. This was a day or two after the holiday, and I figured they might have went down for the holiday and hadn't brought the price back up yet. But anyway, it went up, and then I thought, all right, I had found the power cable, and these were in the cart, and I thought, I'm checking out now before it's too late. But it's still the same. But you never know. I've seen things. Of course, anybody, if you try to buy toilet paper towels in the last couple of months or so, you know how that happens faster than you can check out if you've tried it online. But no, I've seen it happen on and off. Especially during times of sales and stuff. I've seen things change if you fool around for several hours before you check out, or even an hour or two when it's marked down real good. But I do not. Now, right here, there's one thing I already knew before I ordered, but it says high efficiency power supply. And then where did I see it in the manual? It tells in the manual. I don't think it tells the part numbers, but it was that web page that I'm going to see if I can find that page in here. Yeah, has every part. There it is. I labeled it for myself so I could find it. Let's see if I can. See, there's a power supply cage, power supply blank, 460 watt power supply. That's what I have. 750 watt power supply, and these are the gold hot plug power supplies. And the sticker on here is yellow, so I'm going to figure it's the gold. And let's see. And then and mine on my server, the ones in my server that came with it, I think they're blue stickers or something, but there's not one called blue. The one that's now, there's the high efficiency is the second list down here. So I believe what I actually have is this one here. We'll go ahead and just go to that page and do a search for that number. Of course, it didn't start at the top of the page. There we go. So that's the one. That's the number that's in the list. Maybe. Okay, that is. I got confused about which way to go. That's the standard one, the gold power supply. Okay, which probably is what I got because I have a goldish yellow sticker. 92% efficiency. Now, the next one is 94%. The high efficiency is 94% efficiency, which, I'm sure if you were running the thing 24/7 in a server array or whatever, that would be something very important to watch. But that part number is not in here, so this is not a high efficiency, I don't think. That's what I get out of this. So, no, I don't want to do nothing. Dang it, you messed up where I was at on my page. All right. Wait, did I get the wrong number? 599. Well, that's why I don't. I'll just copy and paste the number again. Make sure I did it right. I'm tired. Yeah, it's the same number, I think. But that's not on this page, period. So, of course, it could be that they, so much stuff to put in there, they got it wrong. But, oh, let's look at the number on this thing now. Okay. So we know the number of the high efficiency. Now let's see what we got. That's what I was going to do. Okay, so I don't think I can. Oh, I don't have USB in desktop, so I can't do that. I'll just go to USB and this part number in there. Trying to get it where it's all lined up real nice. Okay, now part number 506-822-101. That's a whole different part number. Spare part number. None of these are 506. Oh, well. Okay. They got a different part number. Okay. Is there any other numbers? Oh, SPN, spare part number. There we go. 511-778-001. 511-778-001. Just like I said. And just like it comes up on their page. So this is the gold hot plug power supply. And it's 92% instead of 94%. I'm not worried about that. I suppose I should tell them that this is what they got. I might do that. I don't think I'll do it now, but so if you're interested in these power supplies and that they have there, or this company's parts, you better pay attention to that if you're really need what you need. And I figured that out before I did the order. So and it's a lot of information to get right. Some of them do it on purpose. And some of them really you can kind of tell they don't. Especially when it's people over from not. They're trying to write, sell to Americans and write in English when they that's not their first language. And I always thought they had to. I would say sometimes when I was thinking about it or making a video, I'd say, well, their translator's not very good. And then I started realizing, some of those translations, I've used Google Translate for years, and ever since it came out. And some of those, and it's pretty good now in a lot of languages. So, of course, from whatever language to English, it should be pretty good, right? So hit me not too long ago. I thought, well, you know what? They might just be using Google Translate. And I mean, there's services you can pay for a long time before Google Translate became the main one. There was one called Babelfish that was kind of a joke on the translating. If you've ever seen the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy English TV video series, they literally put a little Babelfish in the ear so they could hear each other in their own languages. Anyway, you have to see the show. Don't panic. But just watch the show. So I was been thinking about that lately, but because of that, I guess. But anyway, that's I wanted to open that box today, so I kept, I made sure I made the video tonight, and it took me about 2 hours to get set up, of course, and I should have. The last few days I've been going to bed between 8:30 and 9:30, and it's 10:30 now, so that's why I'm so tired. I did sleep a lot longer last night, though, so I got up 8:30 or 9:30 or something. I think I woke up anyway. Now I'm tired, that's for sure. Okay, so it's not, there's not that enough difference for it to worry me. Even if I was running it all the time, I'm sure it would add up, 2% difference over time. But I still have the other power supplies if I want to use them. But the reason I'm getting, let me, before I forget, this is the page if you're interested. I found it, just doing a Google search. That did that on its own. I don't know what the heck it was doing. Maybe because I put my mouse up there. I hate pages that do stuff like that. I put my mouse. It helps me. It's like a ruler, so I can read. And plus it helps in the videos to point to stuff. But when you put it somewhere, it doesn't look like there's even a menu, and then it starts going nuts, bringing up all kinds of crap, and it's jumping. It's going up and down. Like the slightest movement. Anyway, the HP ProLiant DL380 G7 server spare parts. That is really awesome. I think it's got pretty much everything you could put in one, and it helped me find out that. What else did I find? I thought, okay, what else would I maybe need? Oh yeah, the backplane for the. I found the backplane for this server. I was thinking, okay. Not that I have any trouble with mine. The backplane is what you connect the devices to, like hard drives, or there's a backplane for the power supplies. I think this might be it right here. Yeah, power supply backplane. Right there. That's all it is. And I don't know what all you'd have to take out to get to it. You can't see it without taking. There's covers over the. But look at there what it is. But the thing that surprised me is that the connectors are just like the ones on the. I just see one now. Okay, so there's a picture of the connector. They're just like the ones on the power supply. They're both male. You don't usually see that. Usually, if you have a male connector, then you have a female receiver. And see the one on the power supply is male, just like that one. That's what I'm saying. See. And I can tell by the picture they're the same. They're both male. So, but I can see where there's not a problem. All they have to do is be lined up precisely, with almost no. I mean, this is that's a PCB board. That's what and the connectors are. I won't say. Well, they might be etched in there. They're kind of like, they're not just regular traces. Well, they could be regular traces. They're pretty thick, though. But anyway, you can see that it's a PCB board, which I think most of them are fiberglass, some particular formula of fiberglass. But anyway, there's connectors on the bottom and the top. That's another reason why I thought it would be a female connector. Just as, that's what you usually always see. But look how rounded off that is. Perfect for sliding. I bet you the way it looks that other one slides. Well, I don't know. That one's going to slide under the other and get your connection that way. So, and they're good and thick because they do need to carry 750 watts. So let's put that back in there for now. And the reason I thought about it, I thought I was already thinking, okay, I've gotten if these are the ones I use, which I think I will, as long as everything's all right with them, then what will I use? Then I'd have I'll have two 460 watt server quality power supplies I could use on other things, because that's one thing I'm short on is power supplies. I got a bunch of old desktop boxes and machines that would run. I've got, let's see, what do I have? If I finish building, I've got the ASRock motherboard that's in Mom's machine, which I'm going to take it out and use the Asus motherboard. It'll be an 8-core, and then I have a 2-core processor that works in that ASRock motherboard, plus memory and everything. I had it in a box before, but the power supply is no good in it. And then I have her original dual-core AMD memory and motherboard, and everything's just fine. And I could put that in a box, but the power supply is lacking. So there's two decent systems I could build with if I had two decent power supplies. And 460 watt will be way plenty for those, especially server power, because they're really and truly 460 watts full time, not peak. So, oh, I thought I was showing the desktop. Oh, I am. That thing is fooling me every time. That the preview on the camera itself, I look over there and I think it's my preview of my video because I'm not used to having a camera with that. But and see the back plane, you wouldn't have to have the back plane. I would not like solder onto the. You could do things like that, but I would not solder or do any weird thing like that. I would not do anything that could damage the connectors on the power supply itself. I want it to always be able to go right back into the server if I need it to, And but with this back plane, with all those connectors on it, you can just connect to them whatever way. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily have to buy another connector that goes in there. I think they look to me like maybe they're the kind where you probably would want to wick it with solder, but then stick a wire in there and it'll hold it. It'll stay. That's what they look like. They look like they've got spring-loaded deals in them. They might not be, and I didn't look. You might be able to buy those connectors for another few bucks. That's not too expensive there. If you could buy the connectors. Doesn't come up power supply connector, maybe backplane connector. Must be one word to them. Yeah, backplane. There's one that says assembly. Let's just look through everything that says backplane. Well, there's only two things that show backplane that way. Backplane power cable. That might be what I'm talking about. Anyway, just completely a side note. So, that, the whole reason I okay, so there it is. Let's see. Arriving June 3rd to 5th. Well, I've got it today on June the 1st. Now, here's the reason I needed that. I ordered this. It's supposed to be here tomorrow by 8 p.m. Let's see. Sometimes I've seen that before when I was really like something that I'm wanting as soon as possible like this, and it's a day or two more. But usually, even lately, they've been pretty good. Now that things are getting a little more back to the normal shipping schedule. But I bought that. Oops, that's okay. So I found this while I was searching for a cable and all. Is when I found this site. I don't. Anyway, this is a 10-pin to. It wouldn't be a standard. I don't think you'd find it in here. I might be wrong, but 10-pin to 8-pin. This one is an 8 or 6-pin. And it also has SATA and Molex for hard drives. And then there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that the end with the 10 pins? Here's a picture of the whole thing. So one end has 10 pins, yeah. Okay. The other end has 8 or 6. And then the other one comes off down there, has a 4-pin Molex and a 15-pin SATA female. And I might actually need, I never thought about putting a standard hard drive in it. You wouldn't plug in. But you might want to power, if I'd ever decided I want to put a DVD in there or something, a drive in there, I wouldn't want to go buy one, but I have some that are Molex and 1 or 2 that are SATA connectors. But anyway, if I needed something like that, I'd have it. Actually, I think. Well, now that I have the bigger power supplies, the thing is, the video card I bought is 150 watt, and the maximum, it says in the manual, the maximum that you can run on this connector is 150 watts. That's the way I get it. I don't think it's and it did not say depending on your power supply. It just said I guess I could show. Well, I'm not going to show it again. I went over it and over it in the last couple of videos. But anyway, that's what I decided to buy. I couldn't. There wasn't too many of these kind of cables to choose from. There was another one that split off to 2 8-pins, and that's just looking for trouble because then you might forget or get brave and plug it into 2 8-pin things, which is what are they going to be? This needs 8 pins, another 2 video cards, and then you're going to be liable to not if you know, like say with these power supplies, they might can handle it, but something in the board might burn up, and that would be very bad. You know, that's one thing that would be hard to. Well, it's a lot. I've seen a video of somebody replacing it. It's not as hard as I thought. To replace the motherboard in the one of these servers, if you know how to do it, it's, you know, he did it real quick. He was showing it in real time, and he did it in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you know, start to finish. But this thing, it doesn't have as good a ratings as I would like to see, but it's only got 5 reviews, and one of them was the scary one. I forget what it was. Melted their DVD player. So I don't know what happened. Can't say that it has one way or the other why that might have happened. So before I plug that cable in, that reminds me, I want to check it with my multimeter and make sure it is not, you know, the wires are going where no ground wires have, you know, all the ground wires, you know, have continuity and you know, like that. I doubt I can trace them perfectly. Well, yeah, you should be able, like if you go yellow to yellow, you know, like if you get on one of the yellows and ring all the rest of them out, you should be able to figure it out. That's the main thing. Well, and yeah, I can see where. Right now I'm so tired, I may have to wait till the next time to try that. I was wanting to pop those in there and try them out, but, well, I don't have the video card, so I don't have this or the video card yet. I'm way ahead of myself. Okay. So I can't do that anyway. The video card, I'll show that. I did several videos on deciding what to get. I decided to go ahead and get it, and then after I ordered it, I just kept thinking about the power supplies, and I tried to figure, the best I could figure it up, my 4-5 60-watt power supplies would handle it, but I thought, well, I don't want to be pushing them and end up tearing them up. And so I was shopping, and while I was doing shopping for the cable, I think is when I saw those power supplies, and yeah, that's what happened. And then I was like, well, you know, for $28, 2 of them, yeah. And of course, they're using, that's why they're that, somebody, I mean, not everybody's marking them down that much, but somebody did, you know, so. And like, they had good reviews on them. There was only one bad, the only negative review was they sent them 2 different sizes. Nobody said there was something wrong with any of the ones that were reviewed, so. I thought that was not too big of a risk, especially for $28. But this one, this video card, 8 gig, and it's got 3 of those. I always forget the name of the kind of. Trying to look in there for where the list of the connectors are. Anyway, HDMI I can do, and DVI-D is what's actually on my monitor. But I also have a adapter I bought a few years ago that'll, you know, you can use an HDMI cable to it, and it'll work in my monitor. You just wouldn't get any audio, but I don't run. There is speakers in my monitor, but I've never used them. They're terrible. Turn them on once just to see what they sound like. Display port. It's got 3 display ports, but I kept looking. They got various models that are similar, but this is the one that it's $149 now. It was $139 when I bought it. So see, that's what it was when I found it several months ago, and it went down to $139, and I didn't figure it would. I think I might have started it that once, but I figured it'd go back up, and it has now. It wasn't, last time I looked at it a few days ago, it wasn't back up. But yeah, and see the rest of them jump up. See, that's only a 4 gigabyte there. That's 142. So you got to watch that. That's why I thought, you know what, it'd be worth it to get an 8 gigabyte to go ahead and buy those power supplies, especially when I saw them that cheap. So, so they're on their way. Let's hope everything works. I'm hoping everything works, you know, like it should with that. And that must be that part number I looked up. Oh, that's when I was looking for that backplane. Yeah, once you find the part number, then you can find, let's see. Power cable, second CES, backplane, power cable, optical drive. I'm going to say that might be it. So let's try it. The cable that I was just showing, but the Hewlett-Packard one, I already got out of Amazon, but well, there's been there. Oops, I don't know how that got there. Now, how did that happen? I just got through typing AMA. I just did it fast, and it brought up that Camping World. There we go. Oh, okay. I don't want to just do a search anyway. I started to click on that. I saw the power supply. Okay, let's see what that brings up. Yeah, HP power cable. That one looks like, that one doesn't have a price. Let's see. $37, yeah. And the one I ordered is like $12 to $15. Renewed, and that's a used cable. Renewed. That's what they said on the power supplies, renewed instead of refurbished. I think everybody's had so much trouble with refurbished stuff. That's a negative. It is a negative term in my mind. $85 and free shipping. What is that one for even? It looks like it's a 10 pin to 10 pin. Well, oh, those two will drop off. So I guess you can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's a 10 to 10. So it wouldn't even work for what I was wanting to do. But forget that price, though. That's another used one. Oh, yeah. Well, whatever. Yeah, it's that part number. I don't know why it keeps doing that with that picture. I'm going down here to click on that. There we go. So, yeah, you had to have it long enough, too. Most of the cables aren't that long, but the one I got is plenty long to do what I want. And then I did pay attention to the gauge of the wiring used, and I seemed that it would be big enough, you know, for the high wattage. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what this one might be. 10 pin again. $24. Now that's more reasonable, at least. This looks, I don't know if that's really Hewlett-Packard brand or not. They are showing that part number, but yeah, I notice that it looks different too. The manufacturer of that cable that I ordered is the one you see everywhere. So they must be must not be a whole lot of them that are. I'm just gonna put that in my case I decide that I need to find that again. And I just got thinking, yeah, I see they got some part. Oh, that's the power supply, not the cable. I don't think that they'll be given any HP numbers in there. Didn't think so. But how long is it? 25 inches. So it's really versatile. It's got somewhere in there it tells you think it's on down here. Tells you the gauge of the wire somewhere. Let's see, I'll keep forgetting. Yeah, AWG, 18 AWG. So that's not super big, but it's not too small either. That's a pretty good size for for what you would find in a computer wiring. But if they seem to be warming up or anything like that, I'll get something else. If I had to make one, it'd be hard to do. Well, I have those connectors. I could make one. I could put bigger wire in it. Wouldn't want to, but I could. Yeah, but you got the connectors. So now what I was thinking I would do is I don't know, as tired as I am, I may not. I was all excited, and I wanted to boot it up on the power, the power supplies that are in it, and then shut it down and put these in there and boot it up and run some comparison of the, hardware specs and stuff. I've got, what have I got on here? My USB sticks, I think, are still just like they were the last time I booted it up. Yeah, Fedora 29, that'd be Live Mate Desktop. That one just says Dawn's Files. So I guess I took, so the other one that I did have Parted Magic and stuff on, I took it off to put some files on there. And then I think I was wanting to carry them in my pocket, with me. I would have, there's not too many hardware. Let's see, go back on the desktop. There's not too many hardware. I'm going to close this to give this thing a break. Oh, I should have left it. This time I'm going to open up the browser on the laptop again so I can check it. Okay. What was I going to look at? Oh, yeah. I don't even have anything on this thing that, if you look up hardware, doesn't. I know I've got at least one or two things. Let's see. I think, maybe I don't. Hardware lister, I think that's what it shows up as, HWL or something. But anyway, I mean, you can use the system monitor, but that won't tell you, the power supply and the voltage and all those sort of things. I'm pretty sure. Can't remember what app I would need to use to see the voltage and all that stuff. Of course, you could go. Oh, that was the other thing. I wanted to. The last time I tried, when I first got 10 months ago, when I got the server, I tried. Let me check make sure my stream's good. I tried logging into the ILO adapter on the server. And there you could see a lot of that stuff. That's built in, I haven't been into this one, so I don't know for sure. And I've never done it myself on anything. This is my first real server. I've always run my websites on the desktops I turned into servers, and right now I'm using this laptop as a server because my desktops, all of them, they make up so much heat, and the fans, every one of them that I was using, like 3 of them ended up with bad fans, and I didn't want to buy fans for those old things. And yeah, we're good with that now. So with my audio and video. This laptop, I just decided to start using it. I was using another one. I have another one that has a broken screen. Now I can't remember what. I used it for a better part of a year. And then it got to where when the power would go, like sometimes, our power does go down once sometimes. And we've had more trouble than ever. Of course, nothing like a lot of other states. Here in Texas, we have a pretty good, I found that out in the last 10 years with all the, the infrastructure problems and all. We actually have pretty good infrastructure, and as far as our power grid and all that. And but what will happen is nowadays, and I think it's because there's so many people moved down here and so much building, new houses built and all that.
they're getting a little behind. You know, they don't have as much power in the grid as they need for everybody. So, you know, it'll just go off for, sometimes it'll just blink off and blink back on. It'll be 30 seconds or a minute or two. Sometimes if, you know, if there's a storm and you'll hear the transformer blow up out there, you know, they'll pop real loud. And then and when you hear that, it's probably going to be 30 minutes to 4 hours before somebody gets here to fix it. And it's usually the whole street that's down then, you know. And everybody on that transformer, you know. But it does happen. Usually it doesn't go down for more than 30 minutes to an hour very often, like 2-3 times a year where it's longer than that. But so in those times, even just, well, now with the laptop, now pluses and minuses of having a laptop for a server, I've learned, you know, they have a battery, like assuming the battery's good. That's what I think's wrong with the Acer. I think the battery finally died. And some laptops will run with a bad battery. You can even take it all the way out. We had an IBM that you could leave the battery out of it, and as long as it was plugged in, it'd run. But anyway, the Acer used to, when I first started using it, it would run for about an hour, I think, till the battery ran down, if the power was out that long. And so you weren't interrupted, you know. If the power went on, I mean, you don't have, you know, your server's not on the internet until your router comes back on, because it's on. I don't have a backup for the router, you know, in the modem. Even if I had a backup for my router, my modem, then on down the road there's a junction box that needs power, it needs AC power. I found that out a few years ago, because a few years ago, my neighbor. My old neighbor, he moved. We grew up next door to each other. And anyway, okay. I'm going around the block. I left when I was 18, got married, raised kids. He was about 10 years younger than me, maybe a little less. And so when I came back, then we actually got to know each other. He's just a little kid to me. You know, I didn't really know him that well, even though he lived next door to me. I remember when he was 3 years old riding his tricycle, you know. And anyway, turns out we both like computers. We both like cameras and video and sound. We both did some sound mixing and stuff, but didn't even know it until after I came back here after I was older. I was about 45 or something like that. So anyway, a few years ago, probably 10 years ago now, he was telling me this story about that we'd been having trouble with the internet going down and stuff, and he was telling me this story that he loves to talk to everybody, and so he saw the text at that junction. He's the one that told me where that junction box was and that there was one down there, and it had to have power and all that stuff. And I don't remember what it was, but for some reason they didn't have their power source, and so they hooked up a generator to it to keep the internet up and going. And so there was a freaking little generator instead of there running. I think I saw it once, and I was like, why do they have a generator there? Who's got a generator? It's sitting in someone's yard by the curb, and I thought, well, if it was for that house, why would it be out there by the curb? Yeah, I saw it. Okay. So he told me the whole story, and his story was, now that he found out about it, of course, me and him just couldn't stand the internet being down. We used it all the time, and so he went and got it went down and quit working, and he knew what was wrong, so he went and got some gas and put it in the generator, and our internet came back up, you know. So that's how I know that it would do me no good. I thought about, I have two UPSs, two back. I have an old one. I couldn't fix. The first one I ever had, it's a Cyber Power. I got it refurbished. It lasted 6 months, maybe. I don't remember how long. However long it did, it wasn't long enough for me, and it just quit working. And I bought a new battery for it. Didn't help, and wasted $25 on that brand new battery. I just figured it's a battery, you know. And of course, it's got some electronics in it, some circuit boards that I couldn't fix, you know. And so it still worked as a power strip, but the the backup part's gone. Now I finally ended up taking that. Well, since that new battery didn't do it any good, and I didn't want that old battery, I think I threw away the old battery, and the new battery sat in the garage with me, hoping to find something to use it for, till it went dead, and it's no good anymore. Sat out there for 15, and well, it's been out for, I think it's still out there, so it's been out there around 20 years now. Yeah, it's no good no more. But I don't know if it's still there or not. I even tried to give it to that guy, Jeff, and he didn't need it. So it sat out there another 10 years, you know. So I have another UPS, a bigger one, about so big, the old-fashioned kind, that takes 2 of those batteries, but I got it. Let's see. Yeah, by the time I tried those 2 batteries. That's the 6-volt batteries, about so big, like a motorcycle battery, and I tried both of them in there, and I verified that the other one was by that time no good. You know, the original one for this one, and here. So I didn't want to buy another battery for it. So actually, what I ended up doing, this is turned into a way sidetrack. What I ended up doing is I have a van that I was wanting to, you know, make a camper van. It's a Good Times van. It's got the van conversion in it. And it needs some work. It needs some electrical work. My uncle gave it to me years ago before he passed on. And it's in good shape, but it does need some work. You know, it looks better than any van I've ever seen, that. It's an 83 Dodge van. And anyway, another neighbor gave me 8 diesel truck batteries. And I didn't have really any other place to put them. Plus, I thought, well, I can use them in there. I actually had a big dream of making it not just making it electric. I guess you since everybody's all into hybrid and all that junk, you make it a hybrid. Add an electric motor. There's a kind of electric motor you can mount on the. Well, it doesn't matter which kind I got, but you can mount it on the differential. Then all you get to do is shorten your drive shaft. And those batteries would have been plenty to drive that thing, you know. And but I was never able to do it. You know, my health was bad, and I didn't have the money to do it. But they're still in there, and the last time I checked, 2 of them were still okay, usable. The ones that were on, I had connected that UPS to them, and that thing needed 2 12-volt batteries. It needs 24 volts. And so, of course, they're this big. You know, they weigh about 80 to 100 pounds. But of course, they wouldn't go in it. They're bigger than the batteries are bigger than it is. But I just, you know, wired it. I used some like 10-gauge wire, wired it up, and anytime I have a 20 amp extension cord, the one I actually bought from my welder, and a 20 amp circuit, and so I'd run it out there whenever I was out there playing around, and I stuck them in there, but that neighbor back when he still lived here, we'd get out there sometimes to mess around with computers, and I had an old computer a couple I set up out there, and just for experimenting, we would unplug the extension cord and see how long it would run. The computer and a CRT monitor, and sometimes it was dark, we'd run one light. That was before LED lights were cheap, so we were running regular incandescent light bulbs, and only one. You could run that for, and he brought a router over, and so I set it up as a wireless for Peter, and then you could have internet out there, and so a router and a monitor and a computer, what was it, about a Pentium 2 or 3, probably a Pentium 3 that we had out there. I had another one, 2 of them. I had a 486, maybe. Yeah, probably. I don't know what it was. Something pretty old. Pentium 1, maybe. And plus that, and he'd run different ones. One time we wouldn't run but one computer at a time, and just fill around, you know. And so I just ended up leaving that stuff out there, and I finally took them out, and there's a TV and a couple of, I was in there the other day looking around in there. There's a TV, and my sister gave me, when everybody got rid, you know, started getting flat screen TVs, got rid of an old analog CRT TV has worked perfectly, and I hooked it up to a VCR and a DVD player and stuff, and I was just running that off the extension cord. Well, I mean, if the cord did get unplugged, it would still keep running. But I did find out, I'm still not sure, when you have a UPS, for computers, especially like the more sensitive one, especially say like maybe the monitor that I had out there originally, it died after a year or two of being out there. I don't know if it's the heat and cold, the moisture, but the ones in the garage, they get the same, I would say the same heat and cold and moisture pretty much. And they haven't died, But running it on that UPS alone, it's not pure sine wave. It is dirty electricity, and so I think that might have damaged it and made it. But it slowly died. It didn't die right away. It started acting funny, and then it died. And then, see, did I have 2 of them go bad? I was wanting to say I had 2 of them that went bad out there, but maybe it was only the one. Then I got another one. Now, the other one I got's in the garage. It still works. Yeah. I did have 2 monitors go bad, but different reasons. Okay. So, that's not anything to do with, well, it is to do with, it was to do with servers. Right now, that Dell 6000 laptop, 1.6 gigahertz is my server, and it's also what I'm, checking my stream with right now. When I first started checking the stream with it, it did pretty good. I could let it run the whole time I was streaming, even up to 3 or 4 or 5 hours. Sometimes I get going and forget and keep going. I've already gone 2 hours, haven't I? No, 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour. And but now I can't play it 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. In that, it'll get to where it's so loud it's driving me nuts, and I can tell that and that's bad on them. They're not cooling. If it's running, that fan is so loud it's driving you nuts, then it's overheating, and you don't want it to, I don't want to damage it. It's a nice little old laptop. Even if it's old, it's still a nice laptop. And so I don't know. I guess the whole story, I don't know how I ever got off to that whole story, but it does tie in as far as good power supplies, clean electricity, so that, you need that with your electronics not to harm them. Now, servers, well, they're very well built. They're built to last. They can handle a lot more heat than I realized. I found out from Morton, a guy that I've watched his videos for several years now, learning about servers. Taught me enough to, feel like I could just jump right into one. No, that they're lessened the learning curve ahead of time before I got one. Let's put it that way. But mostly he does IBM Lenovo server videos, but he does have a few. He has the G6 380 HP 380 G6. It's very similar, and he had I think it's a DAS. I think it was a DAS network storage thing. It's a HP storage device, just like 100-something hard drives or something like that. And he was working on that. He had a lot of trouble with it. I don't know. He was just trying all different types and sizes of hard drives and stuff. But he wanted to get them every slot to have a working drive in it, and he still hadn't got them to where it'll show. It goes crazy. Sometimes it shows, one drive, a drive will work in this slot, and then the next time you boot it up, it's not showing up and stuff like that. And that's what he does for a living and has for, I think, 25, 30 years. So, if anybody can figure it out, he ought to be able to. So, plus he's got a popular channel, and people that do that for a living will help him out. They'll comment on there and tell him. A lot of times he'll say, I figured this, thanks to everybody that commented to help me figure this out or whatever. And he's doing this at home. He does this for fun at home, but in his job, once in a while he'll do videos at his job and show these brand new expensive servers and stuff. But mostly it's at home, and he's just playing, That's why he calls it My Playhouse, his channel. But also, actually, he just started that before he started doing server videos. It was his grandparents' house, and he bought it, I think, after they passed on, and so he lived up in town. He's, I guess you would say Danish. I always get the countries wrong and everything. Anyway, he lives in that area of the world, and he did have he used to show it once in a while. He had a house in town. It's kind of funny because he had a basement in there, and he has a basement in this house, and I would get kind of confused. Well, where is he now? And then I'd finally realize the one that's really nice, he called it the creepy basement. It was really nice to me. Woodwork inside and everything. Now, the one that is my playhouse, it's creepy. It's old concrete walls and some old rock and brick like stuff. But he did paint it, and it looks a little better now. And it's also very tiny, and the other one was pretty good size, looked like. But anyway, he did live up in town, and he would drive out to and stay at his my playhouse on the weekends for years. And now he sold his house in town, and he lives out there. And I think he seems to like it better because then we can do, he can do his projects whenever he wants to and during the week and everything. But and he also makes real movies. He's really a good movie. He's like, I don't know if you'd call him a producer or what, but he has some friends that they formed a movie company years ago, and they made a few feature-length films, and they're really well done. Some of them are and some of them are shorts, like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. But some of them are not. Some of them are in English, and some of them are in they're Dutch, I guess, Deutsch. And no, that'd be Deutsch, I think is German. But anyway, speaking of Deutsch, I think that means do you speak German? So anyway, he has a separate channel for the movies, but I can't think of what it is. Anyway, thanks again. I just went blank. I was going to say his name, Morton. Thanks again, Morton. Thumbs up. How dorky. For teaching us this, sharing your knowledge, because he shows us the kinds of things that helps you know what to do. Like he showed you the tips on how to find the part. That's how I got the idea that I could go to the HP website and find anything about the parts or anything. Even for an old server. Now, see, that page with the parts list is still there, but a lot of the stuff, I've got the PDF manuals, and when I first got it 10 months ago, some of those links worked, and I swear some of them that used to work don't work again already. And I thought it's because they'd just taken all that stuff down, but the other day when I found that page I was just showing, that's all for this server, so I'm thinking that maybe they redesigned the site, and it's just that the URLs are no good. It's not that the information's all gone, so I need to get back on that site next time I need to know something. And like if I need updates, firmware updates, BIOS updates, or anything, I don't know that I'll need any, but if I do, I'll do that. I'll get back in. I had thought, okay, there's no point in going there, but I found out the other day there is still very good stuff available. And I just now noticed one of the stickers says 750 watts in bold and one's in smaller letters. I just realized, let's see, I need to stick that under the, see, my new camera is not, it's not 4K. It says in there, the 13, I got to get that on, 13 megapixel CMOS sensor, which is not anywhere near 4K, but it says one spot, or it did, they've taken all that information out where I bought, the page where I bought it, is no longer available. The basic stuff is there, but all the stuff that was there when I bought it's not there. But now that's the other power supply. I was thinking, yeah, I do kind of remember that number. Normally, I usually can't do that, but it's a visual thing, though. I saw it. I really looked at it. 511, and it's an easy number, 511-778-001. Now let's put the other one up there. I want to make sure they match. I mean, just because that sticker says 50 watt on the end, it doesn't mean that. Of course, they could change all stickers, but anyway, 511778. Yeah. So those two, they're match set. I do want to know if they work, don't I? Of course, I can do that tomorrow, but the one thing I don't have it plugged up, no power. I don't have Ethernet cables plugged in. I have to go in another 10 minutes. Well, it wouldn't be that. It would be. Of course it would, Don. What do you think? It just took me 2 hours. I thought it'll probably take me 30 minutes to an hour to set up, and it took me over 2 hours just to get everything working, especially when I was already tired before I started. I got kind of I guess two things. I ate supper, but that usually brings me down before I usually get tired and sleepy before I get energy, and then especially since I had a hamburger with French fries, all that carbohydrates, and I don't know. I think just starting to making videos and talking about stuff I like, I think that just kind of wakes me up too. So. Yeah, I'm not going to go on because it's 11:20. It'd be crazy. If I start into another phase of this, I will not quit. I know me. I still have clothes. I washed clothes today. I still have another load in the dryer that I'm sure are done by now. I need to go get them out of there. Clean all the stuff off my bed and move the server out of the way so I can go to bed. Haven't taken a shower yet. Yeah, don't do any more stuff. Okay. So that's cool, though, that I got those. So now when I get my... I ordered those after the video card and everything, and now I was debating, but what I think I'll do, is I'm going to boot it up and have make sure that it's still working like it should. I'll just boot it to Fedora 29. I might go ahead and put something like Parted Magic has a bunch of hardware testing stuff on it. It's old. Well, this is an old server anyway. I think the Parted Magic I have is from 2013, and the server's from 2010. So, and it did run on there just fine. And all the tests, hardware lister, and all that stuff ran. Yeah, I can do that again. I've already done it once, but I can do it again. Just not spend as much time at it, and then shut it down. Put those 750 watt power supplies in there, and run them through. I think that I'm not sure if there's anything in there that shows the voltages. So. Oh, and the other thing, if I get everything all hooked up, I need an Ethernet cable on the ILO adapter and one on one of the Ethernet connectors, 2 power cords, all that stuff. It's all down there. I just have to dig it out. I mean, it's all down there and plugged in. I do need to figure out one thing that's might take some time. I don't know. The 2 cables, I actually have 3 Ethernet cables, but I'm not sure which router. Well, I used to have 3 routers over there. Now I have my D-Link router, an 8-port switch, and the TP-Link router. And so as long as it's on the D-Link or the switch, it'll be within the same network. But the TP-Link is another subnet, plus it's only 100 megabit connection. So I don't want to, and I cannot get to the TP-Link because of its firewall. And I don't really want to turn it off. I make it like a DMZ, demilitarized zone kind of setup. I could, but I don't. I just assumed it have security. I guess it doesn't matter since I'm not running the Wi-Fi. I was used to be worried about the Wi-Fi because I used to run 2 Wi-Fi routers at the same time until I realized they were fighting each other, and that you really should only run one in the same room like that. Actually, really in the same, like if one was down here and one was at the other end of the house, they're still going to fight each other. So just the neighbors' routers, I've started using my phones when I found the apps to see the channels and which channels were full. I was able to, I knew this already for years, but I didn't have a way to find out what channels were busy. Now that I have these apps on my phone, I can put it on the channels that's busy, and it makes a noticeable difference in your traffic, your speed. So, but I'm talking about wired anyway. That's what I'll be using. But yeah, I'm too tired to do anything else. I'm going off. That's why I'm going. How did that happen? I saw it do that, and I had not touched a thing. You know, that happened to me a couple times. That has happened. I was going back through my previous videos and, you know, renaming them, and I've got them uploaded. I uploaded about 8 or 10 videos, all at the same. I put this thing to work in uploading, and went to bed and let it run. And the other day, and so little by little, I've been going back and giving a description and doing all that stuff, renaming them from the file name I gave them, you know, a little bit better, like what's actually going on in the video, you know. And when I was going through, looking through the videos, I saw these spots where I'm talking away, and it's showing the titles and stuff, you know. I just now saw kind of something change in the preview, but I wasn't paying any attention because I was looking over at the camera, trying to look that way to be looking into the camera. And then I realized it was the beginning titles with no sign. That's what it's labeled, you know. I just did it. I swear, if I touched the mouse, I didn't realize it. But I'm not going to do it again. I mean, I think you could do it by using the back. No, that didn't do anything. I have my mouse is can I get it in the picture? Microsoft IntelliMouse. It's one thing that Microsoft did a fantastic job at. I've had that thing since, I'm going to say around 02, maybe before that. Still works perfectly. But anyway, those silver, you see the silver things on the side? Those are back and forward buttons they don't just work on the internet. They'll work in a lot of programs too. So I thought, well, maybe I bumped it, and like if I went to move it out of the way, you know, did that. That maybe I did that, and it somehow caused it to. You can, let's see, no, that's not doing it either. Wait a minute, that's not blued in like it's highlighted. Okay, I'll click on the desktop and you can see what I'm talking about. It wasn't blue like that, it was gray. Well, that doesn't move it, and the wheel doesn't do it. And now you can move it with the keyboard, and I do that a lot, but I didn't hit the keyboard. I don't understand how in the world that thing could move on its own. And I see it's happening again. My camera, the white balances or the light meter or whatever is having trouble. It's trying to adjust, you know. And see now it's doing it with my hand. It's like my hand is causing it. My hand is causing it to happen. It's because of the light changes of my hand right there, so close to because I've got the camera right there. And I did that on today. Last time I used it like that. Okay, don't do that anymore. Let's put it up on top of the monitor like I usually do, because I don't like that doing that. And I couldn't. I tried different. Well, when I'm using the camera through the USB to the computer, and actually none of the settings in the camera affect that. It's just whatever its default is. That's what it's on. The only thing you can change when you change it in OBS Studio. Whatever I change it in there, and there's only 2 resolutions available: 1280 by 720, which is what I got it on. And it will go up to 221 or whatever that is. I said that a while ago. It's not 4K. They use software to try to bump it up. And they say, and on this page, I just remembered how I got so far off. On the page where I ordered it, it said effective 4K, you know. So I already knew about this. And actually, while I was shopping for cameras, I saw that it's not only the Chinese cameras that are using the effective, you know, 4K resolution. So are some of the, you know, other name, you know, like I don't remember which ones, Panasonic, Sony, you know, whatever. I saw that on some of them that were, you know, around $300, and this one was $109. And but they did at least have like 21 to 24 megapixel sensors, not 13 megapixel. But this one's not sharp in any setting, not really sharp like you would expect it to be. Because I never had a 13 megapixel camera, so I can't compare it of my own cameras that I've had. But I would just say from watching video all these years, you know, watching other people's videos, and they would say what they have. I studied on it a lot because I was always interested in the cameras and everything. I would say it's probably, if this had a decent lens in it, especially like if it had I do have a Nikon camera that doesn't work anymore, but it's not right there anymore. I used to keep it right there. I now have a Nikon camera with a real Nikon lens that my buddy gave me years ago. It's only 1.7 megapixel. It made sharper pictures than, well, any other camera I've ever had, period. Of course, if you try to blow those pictures up to 1080p, you're going to see some grain. But so this at 13, even though it's 13 megapixel, quite a bit bigger than anything I've ever had, because my phones, well, they're 2 megapixel on stills and about 1.7, 1.8 on video. But they're kind of soft. This looks more grainy. You can see the grain in it no matter what setting you put it on. And like I said, I can't change the settings for the USB, and that's the main reason I bought the camera. I did want to be able. I wanted a camera that I could carry around as a regular camera, but mostly I wanted to use it like this as I guess you'd say webcam, you know, as a live streaming cam. Really, that'd be what I want. That's what I do with it. And I was hoping it does have a Wi-Fi function, and it'll record normally. It'll do the highest setting, you know, the 21 whatever, you know, they call it 4K or Ultra HD. And the first thing I did was make videos like that, and they're not anywhere near that kind of quality. They don't even look as good as 1080p cameras, you know, like any decent 1080p camera looks. And I figure that if it really is a 13 megapixel Sony sensor like they said, then it's probably the lens. I'm sure it's plastic. I mean, Kodak cameras have had plastic lenses for many years. And my neighbor, my old neighbor, he had a nice Kodak camera, but it never would make a real sharp picture. And I had learned that about those Kodaks years ago, and was looking at his pictures, and he took some training in photography and stuff. He's been paid to, you know, do photography for years. And I said, well, it's probably your lens, you know. He was saying, well, we were talking about it, you know, and how his pictures looked and stuff. And I said, well, it's great colors and all that stuff, but I said, well, it's probably your lens. And I had learned that from my other friend that's a photographer ever since I met him in, like, you know, 90 or so. He was a photographer. He just learned it from a kid up, you know, or a young adult or whatever. Anyway, he taught me about the huge difference in the lenses. And if you go watching any video by somebody that's like on a professional level or whatever you want to say, first thing they're gonna tell you is get decent lenses. So so I would say that's the biggest reason why this one, and I could be wrong, but and I keep looking at it. Well, before I bought it, I was trying to look. Some of these kinds of cameras, these China cameras, they actually have, you know, you can just take the lens off and put on another. I don't know that they'll take 1/3 lenses. That's the only one I can remember. I don't know enough about all the sizing of lenses and stuff. But I found out recently when I was researching cameras that a lot of these cameras, you can buy a camera that's not expensive. They were saying, well, get you a used one. And I did look, but I didn't see anything that. Well, like I said, I want this. There's 3 features I wanted. 2 I had to have, and that's to be able to live stream, which would be either USB or Wi-Fi, one way or the other. Both. This one I thought might do both, but I think the Wi-Fi is really only going to be. I haven't got it to work yet because their app is really only going to be like you could preview it and remote control the camera, which would be cool. But if it's not a high enough quality, like if it's like a, you know, 360 or a 480p preview, then that'll be not good enough for live streaming for me. But if it was like that, then I could carry it around. And if it worked well over the Wi-Fi, I could carry it around. I tried to hook it up on one of my previous videos. I tried to hook it up and get it to hook up to my router, and I didn't I couldn't even find it on my. I couldn't get it to show up on my router. Actually, this D-Link router that I'm using now, I couldn't even find a place to see the wireless devices in it. And all my other routers had a place you could go to see wireless devices in the area, and would you allow them? Then you can learn the IP address, and you can learn how to set them up. I tried. There's a WPS button. Press the button and try to connect, and it didn't. Nothing happened. I turned this on to connect and press the button over there on the router, and it didn't do anything. Or did I? Did I ever do that? Yeah, I think I did it. But anyway, that's not how it's meant to be hooked up to. It's meant to hook up for direct connection. They call it, a lot of times they call it direct Wi-Fi connection, device to device. It goes straight from the camera to a phone or a tablet. And number one, their app won't work on my phones. I figured probably because the OS, the Android in them is too old for that app. But then when I went and scanned it and with QR code and everything, it took me to a page that was just white with some Chinese letters in the middle on the phone there, and I was like, well, what the heck? I'm not clicking on that, not even knowing what I'm clicking on. And so then I went and got on the desktop, and I saw the URL up there at the top, so I typed that in on the desktop and researched it. And I thought, before I go there, I'm going to scan it. I have, let's see. I'm not going to re-show it again. I'd spent a lot of time in one of the video I was renaming. It had all that in it. So episode 9 about this camera, or part 9 is the one. But what was I going to show? Well, I'll go into my bookmarks, but I can't remember. Oh. Okay, let's go on down. I think I just recently made yeah, there it is. I don't have anything in there but one video. Oh, okay. I just now decided to make me a folder for that. Let's see. I'm not sure. I don't know which one was already there. Now this, these are everything that has Comer in it on my. It was the one that says 1. Anyway, I'm copying and pasting them. I don't want to move them from where they were. So yeah, so now I've got that one twice, I guess. I'm not going to worry about that right now, but yeah, since I'm going on about it, this is where the spot, the page where I bought it, and bought it on January 3rd when I bought it, and it's got the pictures still. It's currently unavailable, but everything else, you can tell they don't. Whoa. Oh, is it all back? Yeah, well, there was a really long description here. It's gone. And I do screenshots of stuff when I'm buying, the pages, so I can still show that, but I don't want to get into all that. There's the questions. The ratings are worse now than they were the other day when I looked. And I almost sent it back, but I didn't. And actually, I might. Well, I don't know what I would have done, but I didn't. It was doing the main things I wanted it to do, but the sound is terrible on the camera itself. But if you plug in my lapel mics, like I was talking on a while ago, one of these will plug into it. And it's better. It does distort with it here on your shirt because I guess there's no volume normalizing or anything in there. I thought maybe that was what was wrong with it. Well, actually, it may be that it just really, it does have that, but it's gaining too much because it's it's really expecting like a shotgun mic, and the speaking to be further away. And I guess I could just put the lapel mic on the camera and just figure out a way. There's a hot shoe connector on there, but it's not a real hot shoe. It doesn't have any electrical connections or anything in it. You actually have which is actually fine for me because my mics don't have. I don't want to spend a bunch of money on a hot shoe mic. These are 3.5 millimeter connectors, and I've got adapters. They'll go to TRS or TRRS. And there's two different TRS adapters with it. It'll fit my phone and whatever some other brands of phones. I don't know which ones. But yeah, I did not buy it with those kind of ratings. It had way better ratings when I bought it. But pretty much a toy. But anyway, I looked up the manufacturer, well, I think they actually are. Comrie is not just a. A lot of times you get the idea, well, these are just made up brand names of the distributor that's selling it, because everybody knows China will. If you want to have your own product, just get a hold of a supplier, and if you'll buy 10,000 of them, or spend $10,000, usually you spend about $10,000 to get a minimum order of whatever it might be, and they'll put your name on it if you want. Well, I don't know, you might not get it for that cheap, but anyway, I looked into some stuff actually doing that. So, that's how come I know that they will. Some of them will do. A lot of those manufacturers will do that. But anyway, I looked this brand up, and it's a brand. Evidently an actual manufacturer. I was trying to think. Okay, yeah. If you click on buy Comrie, they only have. I remember looking at the camera like that, and. This one here with the mic and the lens shroud, I think, it was 100. Yeah, it was 160. And then they have this one. They had more products, I think, when I bought that camera. But where's it at? Looks like the one I was talking about. It's gone down. What they'll do, what a lot of sellers will do. One of them it looked identical. Colors and everything. One of these two here. I think that might be a different brand, but this one says 2.7K, so it's probably the lower model. Either that or they renamed this one 2.7K. But this one has in its settings. Is that where the light is on that one? Or is that just something in their photography that they did? Oh, okay, that's a macro lens. That's what that is. And some of them you can, well, this one might do it. And I only really think about it when I'm using it, and I can't look. I can't see any threads in there even with my magnifying glass. But this one looks identical to mine, other than it looks like it has white lettering instead of blue like mine has on the door. But it looked to me like all they did was it has two batteries. It looked to me all they did was add the mic and the macro lens and raise the price. And it's kind of goofy because they were the cheapest one of that type of camera, and they are the ones that claimed 48 megapixels. I think they dropped down the claim on the megapixels. Yeah, 30 megapixels on this one. It was just a few days ago when I looked, they had another one that looked just like mine, but with, I think it did say less megapixels, but I think maybe that's probably everybody's major complaint is it ain't nowhere near no 48 megapixels. See, it says 48 megapixels right there. Anyway, I didn't get it sent. I didn't decide completely on sending it back. By the time, I ran out of time to send it back. So, yeah, there's one that says 30 megapixels. Anyway, they were about $125 for the ones with the mic, and usually they were a mic and that mic. I don't know if that's a macro lens or just a sunshade type of thing, light shade on that one. That other one is a macro lens, I'm pretty sure. I didn't go looking down in there. But anyway, these are so, the only difference I see in that one and mine is the color of the 4K on the front. Well, okay, yeah, this one has a, that other picture, it may have its light. There's a light on mine. It's right in the middle of top of the lens. I haven't quite figured out how to turn it on. I haven't really needed to, but see, as you can see right now, oh, you can't see right now because I'm on the desktop. My problem is too much light. I need the light to see, but then for the filming, it's a problem with the reflection on the glasses and just washing me out and everything. But even though I've set, yeah, I went into some pretty good details on one of my previous videos about how I ended up setting it up. I ended up using OBS Studio. I can't show you because it would break my live stream. It would break my USB stream from that camera is what it would do. But I was able to adjust the colors with filters on the sources in OBS Studio. You can actually do it on scenes or sources, and I did it on scenes, and then I realized when I wanted to put that camera in with other scenes, didn't have the filters, so I realized I need to put the filters on the source, not on the scene. So I put the filters on it, and over here on the sources side, and then you just either click on the properties or right click on whichever one it is, and then I set the colors the best I could to what in it to what I wanted it to be like, and trying to get them closer to my phones. And then my phones are always a little bit too much color, a little too red and a little too yellow, so kind of back that off too on the phones, and got them not quite so different from each other. But I actually like still the overall color. For instance, that phone is pointed down at that shiny server, and it's not reflecting as bad as I think this one would even right now. But I don't normally have the date in there, but since I'm using that phone, it's on 24/7 as a security camera pointing out the window, and it's quick and easy to remotely turn off the sensing and all that stuff, fairly quick and easy. But the date is a pain. So I can turn it on and off with them from my web browser, I can turn it right back on when I get done here. And so I don't like the date in my regular videos, but it's not a big deal. So anyway, yeah, if those were both pointing at me, I'd be able to compare. But and as the light changes in the room, it looks well. And if I lean, when I have it so close to me like that, it's not near as good as if I have it just another foot away or a foot and a half, like up there or wherever. I think the big problem is the whiteness in the wall. See, when I have it pointed the other way, it's mostly my doors, and they're light, like brown or tan, or what color you call that? Yeah, more tan. Yeah, I think I think the whiteness in the wall really makes it act up. So, but I don't want to turn off the autofocus or the auto white balance, because then the instant I turned it over to a whole complete another area, like pointing it at the server or something like that, it would just be, couldn't see it, So, talking about cameras again, instead of all this time I've fiddled around talking and just jabbering, I could have already started that server up and done all the stuff some of the stuff I wanted to do. But that's the way I am now, I guess. That's my nature. I start getting tired, and I think, no, I know I better not do something, but yet I can't. When I get tired, I ramble. Keep talking. And well, I guess that's the way I am. But I'm really happy. Those dudes right there. Oops. Here's my bubble wrap that I was using to try to make my light better. But, oh, it's stuck. Got to yank my thing off of there. I hadn't thought about it, but those could be actually useful for things like that. But actually, that one there is just perfect for laying things on like that, but not sliding and stuff. But the original power supplies are in it, and like I said, they're 460s. And yeah, okay, that'll be my plan to I'll figure out if I can get into the ILO. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think the other day Martin did a couple. Actually, he got a hold of another HP server someone gave him, and it's a 1U 1 rack space server. This is a 2U. And I think he was going into the ILO. Well, he went to the BIOS and the ILO, but I think he was able to see, things like temperature and all that stuff, and wattages, and all that stuff in the ILO. So if I can do that in the ILO, if I can log into the ILO, then I can show it in a desktop video. And it'll be real easy to read and everything. And if not, then I can get into the BIOS. I have done that. And I'm sure a lot of that stuff will show up in there, but I'd have to just point the camera at my monitor. And one of the things I wanted this new camera for was to be able to point it at the monitor and zoom in on it and have it not get so grainy you can't read it. The phones just can't do it. There's no place for me to there. No place like home. Oh, right behind me there. That's why I was turning it around. Right behind me is where I have to set. If I want to point, at my monitor and show my monitor, but that's too far from my phones. They need to be right here in front of my face, and then I wouldn't have to zoom in, and you could actually read the text that's on the screen. Unless it's way too small or something. And that I haven't even tried it yet, but I don't like to do that if I know it's not going to work very well. It really looks. I see more grain in the video on this than I did in my phone, but it is obviously a bit higher resolution. You can see that a bit. It's kind of weird because it's clearer in one way. Well, like I said, the phones have a soft focus look to them. This it just looks brighter, and depending on the subject, you may or may not see the graininess. If the darker it is, the more you'll see the graining. Like my room's pretty bright because I need a lot of light, and I have 2 of those LED light bulbs in it, and then actually the shade won't fit. You can't screw it on with them because they're longer than standard light bulbs, and so it's flipped upside down, and so there's no shade, there's no diffusion of the light, so it's it hurts my eyes to look up that way. It's kind of so anyway. I'm doing that again like I've done the last few videos when I'm tired. I keep thinking, okay, now what do I want to wrap up? Well, there's no point. When I try to start wrapping up, that's the last hour and a half of hour and 43 minutes. I'm pretty sure I've been rambling ever since about the 1 hour mark, because I kind of remember saying, oh, this video is an hour long, and I don't remember really talking about or showing much of anything to do with the server itself since then. But anyway, that's what you get with live streams. You see what you get, and you get what you see. Because no, I ain't going back and editing these things. Okay, so but hopefully I will do some video editing with that now. That'll be plenty powerful. I could even have I can edit a video and then have it rendering while I'm actually surfing the internet and stuff. I'm pretty sure I can do that without having any trouble. Any other machine I've ever had couldn't quite handle that. It would generally cause you to have errors in your render, or if it didn't do that, then the machine would just, from surfing the internet while it's working it too hard from surfing and rendering at the same time, it might get to the point where it runs out of video memory or fills up the cache, or the RAM gets full, and then you have to it locks up, or you have to shut it down, and it breaks your render. You have to start over. So nobody likes that. So anyway, okay. Seems I'm not capable of wrapping it up or figuring anything out other than I'm just going to have to go. Okay, so I'm going to go. And next time, I will get back to checking out my new power supplies and everything. Well, I may have my parts tomorrow. They could come in the morning, you know. They said by 8. Sometimes they come at 8, around 8, you know, in the evening when it says that. And sometimes it's earlier. Well, you never know. It could be a day or two earlier. It could be a day or 2 or 3 after. You just don't know, especially right now with things not as regular as they usually are with shipping and all that. All right, so I'll talk to you later.